Today I want to talk about three things about ABSD. Number one, the ABSD measure, kind of like a bit of a history of it. Number two, what is a ABSD remission? And number three, what is a temporary relief measure given by the government during this COVID-19 period? Stay tuned. Okay, the first one what we have is, what is ABSD? ABSD is basically an additional stamp duty tax levied on private property purchases based on the citizenship, the number of properties owned, and also the type of entity. So for example, if it's a person or is it a company. And this is in addition to the buyer's stamp duty. So let's talk about a bit of how this whole ABSD measure started and when they did really start in. The first wave was in 8th of December 2011. This was notably after the subprime market in the US, which we see recoveries happening. So the government wanted to put in a kind of a stock control measure to prevent a bubble from forming, and this was the first implementation. But as we went along, the market seemed to be still quite buoyant, and the second wave came in January 2013. So another wave to try to keep this hot market in check. As it moved along, I didn't indicate here, but TDSR kicked in, and this was when things start to really lower and cool the market down. As we went along in 2017, markets start to pick up again, and the third wave, which is the one that I'm going to elaborate further, is the one that was implemented on the 6th of July 2018. So this is the wave that is currently affecting most people on ABSD, and I would like to just share with you a little bit more of what the rates are if you are not sure. So now let's talk about the ABSD rate of today, which will affect everybody. So for Singapore citizen, if you're buying a second property, you'll be taxed at 12%. But if you are a permanent resident, your second property will be taxed at 15%. As a foreigner, you'll be taxed at 20% onwards for all your properties when you buy. Entities like companies, which even has a foreign owner, you'll be taxed at 25%. For housing developer, it'll be 25% plus 2%. And note that this is payable by cash or CPF within 14 days of exercising the option. So now let's talk about ABSD remission. ABSD remission essentially means that depending on certain conditions, you do not need to pay ABSD upfront. Okay, so later I'll show you an example of when you need to pay first, and then you can do an ABSD refund. But ABSD remission, there's a special agreement for some foreigners under the free trade agreement that they do not need to pay ABSD upfront, and they're accorded the same treatment like Singaporeans. So number one is Iceland. For number two, Liechtenstein. Number three, Norway. Number four, Switzerland. As for the last country, only the citizens of that particular country can enjoy it. You cannot be a permanent resident, and that is the United States of America. Okay, so now I want to elaborate further on ABSD remission for married couples, especially those that are buying their first matrimonial home. And note that you have to be at least one that is Singaporean. Okay, and if you are buying a matrimonial home jointly as a couple, you do not need to pay ABSD upfront for the first matrimonial home. Okay, but what if you want to buy a second matrimonial home? You can possibly get an ABSD remission or refund provided the following conditions are met. Number one, you pay ABSD first on the second property. Then to get a refund of the ABSD, your first matrimonial property to be sold within 6 months. From when, you may ask? From the date of purchase of the completed second property, or the TOP date of the uncompleted property. Alright, these are the conditions that have to be met before you can apply for the ABSD refund for your second matrimonial home. And note that IRAS is very, very strict on the 6 months sale timeline. So do not think that because of market condition, you may be given some leeway to extend this timeline. Okay, no. Always go with the mindset that you have to meet this 6 months timeline. But that said, there's a temporary relief measure which was announced on the 6th of May 2020 that there is a new 6-month extension for ABSD remission. So to qualify, 2 conditions need to be met. Number 1, the couple's second residential property was jointly purchased on or before 1st of June 2020. And prior to the 6 months extension under this temporary relief measure, the specified timeline, last date by which the couple must sell the first property to fulfill the ABSD remission conditions, expires on or before 1st of February 2020. So this information is from IRA's website. So please, if you need more information, go to iras.gov.sg to find out more and to see whether are you eligible to get this 6 months extension. So I hope this helps you to get a snapshot of the ABSD situation in Singapore. And if you do like this video, please subscribe or give it a thumbs up so that I can put out more videos like this for you.